Kate Moody. And Kate, we're going to start off in Italy. The Prime Minister there unveiling his latest plans to overhaul the economy.
Yeah, Matteo Renzi is going to try and succeed where his predecessors have failed. We'll be hearing details of an expected €10 billion plan later on today. But his government does think the proposals will succeed in boosting growth in the Eurozone's third largest economy by around 0.8%. Yuka Royer has the details.
When he became Italy's new Prime Minister last month, Matteo Renzi promised to take bold action swiftly to try and kickstart the economy. The pillar of his ambitious reform plan, around €10 billion in tax cuts by reducing the so-called tax wedge. That's the difference between what an employer pays and what a worker takes home. The aim, to make it easier for companies to hire people as the government tries to tackle soaring unemployment. The jobless rate in Italy hit a record 12.9% in January. The figure was much higher for young people, over 42% among those under the age of 24. Parallel to the tax cuts, Renzi's government also plans to extend unemployment benefits and give more protection to newly hired workers. Also on the agenda, the creation of guarantee funds to boost lending to small businesses. Renzi has also pledged to pay off all of the arrears owed by the public sector to private companies. The Eurozone's third biggest economy is in urgent need of reforms. It's weighed down by a colossal debt of €2 trillion and is struggling to come out of its longest recession since World War II.
Let's turn our attention to the markets now. The trading day has just begun here in Europe. Shares down quite sharply to begin that trading day here. The CAC 40 and the DAX both down around 0.7%. That's following on from a downward trend in Asia this Wednesday. The Nikkei ended down 2.6% as investors were pessimistic about Japan's central bank, saying it wouldn't expand its monetary stimulus measures. Shanghai shares closing at their lowest in nearly 8 weeks. Shares in the Chinese media firm China Vision, though, soared over 250%. That after the e-commerce giant Alibaba announced it had bought a 60% stake in the company for some $800 million.
Okay, we're going to stay in Asia for some of the day's company news, starting in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the airline Cathay Pacific says that its net profit tripled last year to nearly $340 million. It's still less than the industry had expected. The regional airline has seen its business suffer from high fuel prices and low-cost competitors.
From planes to automobiles, General Motors is facing a congressional investigation over last month's recall of 1.6 million vehicles over faulty ignition switches. The American automaker has admitted it learned of the problem as early as 2004, but didn't issue a warning until this February.
And the Bank of England is facing criticism of its response to signs of possible manipulation of foreign exchange rates. The bank's governor insists that management responded quickly to the allegations once they emerged last fall. One employee has been suspended, but the bank says an internal investigation has produced no evidence that staff was involved in the manipulation scandal.
Okay, now I imagine when you're American president, it's probably pretty hard to have a quiet shopping trip. But Kate, this time Barack Obama has invited the cameras along. Why is that?
Well, he made a pit stop at Gap, the high street chain store in New York City this Tuesday, ostensibly to pick out some gifts for his 2 daughters and his very stylish wife, Michelle. Let's see what he was able to pick up there.
So we got 2 down and 1 to go.
Now, Michelle, I have no idea what.
Okay, well, we do.
Maybe we should buy some socks.
Socks? Oh my gosh, our socks are so cute, but I think it could go a little bit better.
Yeah, we need to be more creative.
Likes to have socks. Socks are always a good idea.
Especially the First Lady of the United States. But there is, of course, a reason that Mr. Obama did invite all those cameras into the Gap. He's been focusing on income inequality in the United States. He's trying to pressure Congress to raise the federal minimum wage from $7.75 to $10.10 an hour. And the reason he picked Gap, of course, of all the shops in New York, is that it is one of the stores that's taken action, boosting the salary for its entry-level employees to $10 an hour. President Obama said that this store deserves recognition.
So, wanted to lift up companies that are doing the right thing by their employees. For thousands of folks who work at Gap stores all across the country, a little more income, a little more money in their pockets, help them pay the bills.
Okay, I have to wait and see if that minimum wage rise does indeed go through. Thanks very much for now. Kate Moody with the business news here on Live from Paris. We're going to turn our attention to the